Hello, Year 4. Welcome to our second lesson of geography. So, last week in geography, we had a little bit of an introduction to the rainforest. So, we've been learning all about different biomes. Now, biome is where it's an eco-diversity. So, there's lots of animals that rely on other animals. So, we're zoning into the rainforest this term. And last week we learnt about the different layers of the rainforest, and we had a look at the animals that live in each of the individual layers. So remember, we've got the canopy area, which is right at the very top. It doesn't get a lot of sunlight because it's got so many big leaves. You've got the understory layer, which is just below the big leaves, where a lot of the trees a lot of the branches of the trees are where the monkeys live. Then we've got the emergent layer, where the jaguars might be. Some of the frogs are also down there as well. And then we've got the forest floor, where we've got the River Nile, where we might find the pink river dolphin. We might find anacondas as well. They might be touching between the forest floor and the emergent layer. So we've got the different layers of the rainforest where different animals live. Now, this is just a little starter because I want us to just refresh about some of the threats that are happening to the rainforest. What do these pictures show? What do they show? I want you to pause the video and have a think about which one of these, what threat does it show about the rainforest? Okay, so we're going to have a look at them and we're going to rate them in order of seriousness. So how damaging is it to our rainforest? Now, this is our first one. We've got forest fires. Now, I had to Google this one because I wasn't quite sure about how the forest fires start. So thousands of fires are burning across the southern swath of the Amazon. They belch smoke and soot, blanketing those who live downwind of the thick, dirty air. They hurt wildlife in its path and destroy part of them, one of the most important carbon on the planet. So in their way, the fires happen and they hurt wildlife, and it blows soot and smoke downwind of the Amazon rainforest. So it says about 76,000 fires were burning across the Brazilian Amazon, last official count. So this is 80% more. Now, I was trying to have a think. So these are some of the forest fires that happen in the Amazon rainforest. Now, I want to know why. Why are these happening? So the number of fires is higher than any point since 2010. Most fires are caused by humans. So we cause the fires. A lot of fires are set because of previously cleared lands. And what it does is it removes any excess vegetation. So vegetation is like bushes and branches. So by lighting a fire, humans lighting a fire, it'll get rid of all of that excess vegetation really quickly. So others are set in land that is still in the process of being cleared or in order to open up land for crops. So because they want the land, they want to get rid of any of the vegetation, so the bushes, the trees, the branches. They want to get rid of that as quick as possible to put some cows on there and to do some farming. Now, as soon as the fires are set, it destroys the habitat, creates this great big smoke and soot in the environment as well. It's really not that great for our rainforests. We've also got logging. This is called logging. So some of you might have said deforestation. They're very similar. So it means where people are chopping down the trees in order to make furniture, and also in order to do this last one down here, which we're going to come to. So we need those trees for a lot of different things, but actually when we chop down the trees, we then release the poisonous gases back into the environment. So remember, trees take in so much of the carbon dioxide and they give us oxygen. By chopping it down, it then releases those gases back into the environment. Okay, down here we've got mining. So in the rainforest, it has an abundance of lots of different materials. I remember speaking to one pupil in my class talking about palm oil. A lot of the biggest thing in the rainforest that is damaging is palm oil, and we mine for it as well. We mine for a lot of other things in the rainforest. So we chop down the trees and the habitats in order to get those resources. This is a big one. This is called ranching, so farming. So a lot of us now eat a lot of meat in those in in South America. And what we need to be able to eat our lovely beef burgers is we need cows, and we need the land to be able to put those animals on. So unfortunately, a lot of the land in the rainforest has been chopped down to be able to put cows on it. And then our last one is road building. So the more that all of these things are happening, so logging, getting wood for furniture, being able to get into the mines, being able to get access to the farms, what do all these things need? Well, they need transport links. They need to be able to have access to all of these different areas. So what do you need for that? You need a road. So unfortunately, a lot of the rainforests, they're getting a road built between it, which is again destroying the habitat. So a lot of things that are harming our rainforest, and it is said that a lot of the rain, if you see an aerial photograph of a rainforest, it's decreased massively in size, about 60% in the last 10 years. That might not be a true statistic, but it's something, it's gotten smaller and smaller and smaller. Because we're cutting down all these trees. So just have a think about how you would rate it in seriousness. And what we can do, we can go back to this when we are back in school next week, and we can have a look at some of these threats and how you rated the seriousness of each of these. So if you want to find out a little bit more about forest fires, there's a little link there for you. Okay, all right. Today's learning objective is about South America. So we're going to be looking at an area of where the rainforests are, and we're going to see what it's like there. If you would like to, I'm not going to go over all of these. These are retrieval questions from last week. If you can pause it and you can answer some of these. Hopefully you should be able to answer all of these now. Okay, right, where is South America? Pause the video. Can you point on the map where South America is? Where is it? Where is the continent of South America? Have a think where North America is, the United States. It's going to be south of that. Yes, it's this great big piece of land here. So just like I said, this was the United States here, and then South America is obviously south of that. So here is the South America. I'm going to go through some of the main bits about South America. We're going to be using words like ocean, the tropic, the equator, and the hemisphere as well. So to be able to identify the geography of this country, we need to be able to be using these key terms. Normally we would be throwing around a globe and having a look at South America, but we won't be able to do that, so we're just going to look at one on here. So it's split up into how many countries? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, maybe you can count and tell me how many there are, as I think I might have lost count. Now, a lot of South America is made up from this big country here, Brazil, and this is where a lot of the Amazon rainforest is. We've also got countries that you might recognize, like Uruguay down here. We've got Paraguay and Uruguay, Argentina as well. Chile is this long big country. Sorry. Yeah, accidentally. This long country down here. You may have also heard of Peru. It's just west of Bolivia and Brazil. We got Ecuador as well. You may have heard of Ecuador. So that's right on the west of the South American continent. Colombia and Venezuela we've got up north. And we've got our smaller countries down here, which I can't quite see. I think it's Guatemala. Can't quite see the name of. Okay, let's have a look at the oceans then. What oceans surround our South American continent? We've got the North Atlantic Ocean and the South Atlantic Ocean. So on the east side of the country, we've got the Atlantic Ocean. On the east, on the west side of the country, we have got the Pacific Ocean. So it's surrounded by two major oceans. Okay. Now, in the middle here, you can hopefully see this line here. Have a look, have a think about what that line is. You may see this little label here. This is the equator. What does it mean if you live near the equator? It means it's very hot. Okay, it's very hot. So because it is sitting, Brazil sitting right on that equator line. A lot of South America is sitting on that equator line. It means that it is very hot in this country, which is why that the rainforests get this hot, humid environment. Okay, let's have a look at some of the tropics then. So these are the different lines that split up our globe as well. We've got the Tropic of Capricorn over here, which lies right through the middle of, again, it's like the equator, it's like an invisible line. You can't go here and see a line. Okay, it's just an area of how we split up our globe. So again, we've got the Tropic of Capricorn and the equator that sits in South America. Okay. Now, I would like you, if you don't have a printer, then don't worry. You can almost give this, you can almost try and draw it, or you can just list some of the countries in the different regions. So if I didn't have a printer, what I would do is I would put north, south, never eat shredded wheat. And what I would do is I would probably write in some of the countries that are in those regions. So I write that Brazil is over by the east, and I would try and fill in as many countries that are in those ones. So what are the northern countries? Okay, you can go back to the video. You can always pause it to have a look at some of the other countries as well. Okay. Okay, you're learning. I've been speaking a lot. Now it's time for you to explore. I would like you to choose 5 of these sites that are featured in Brazil. So we're going to have a look mainly at Brazil. And I want you just to go and research about some of the areas. I'd like you to maybe say its location and say why it's perhaps significant in that area. So why maybe people go visit there. So just go and have a research, have about 5 facts maybe on each of these, okay, or maybe even 3. Just have a research of some of these. It's your time to explore some of the different areas of Brazil that aren't the Amazon rainforest, okay? You can choose the Amazon rainforest if you want to have a look at that. So these are this is Machu Picchu, that's a good one to go and research. Angel Falls, huge waterfall. The River Amazon, okay, that is in itself over here is interesting in itself. So go and have some research on some of the areas of Brazil. Okay, well done.